before we move into the studio tour and all the details about how I set up the studio, I just wanted to say something. I know that many of us dream about having such a large studio in the house itself, and I just wanted to say that you should never give up on your dreams. I didn't. I started this whole art journey from the dining table of our rented apartment, and I never gave up. Not for a single day. I just painted every day. I showed up on my work even though I had an 8 to 4 job, and I just kept dreaming, and that is what made possible for me to achieve all of these today. This house, the studio, everything was bought from the money that I earned by teaching art online. So if any of you have such nice dreams, I would say to just keep on dreaming, because those dreams can come true. And I'm here to show you exactly how I achieved my dreams. So please do not be disappointed with what I'm about to show you in my studio. Everyone's circumstances and financial situations are different. So I hope you'll take this opportunity to dream higher and also maybe get some ideas for setting up your own studio. I have been using these large sheets for my table just so that I can get a bit of aesthetics on the table. So I used to lay this down and tape it all over, but after I got this table, I kind of felt that, this is too small, because I prefer to have a larger surface area, especially if I'm taking stories or showing off my table in Instagram or somewhere. This was really bad because it wouldn't cover the entire table, and then the rest of the white surface of the table would be seen and it doesn't look good. So this one is like 120 by 70, which is quite huge. Actually, I wanted to get 120 by 80, but then the problem was I thought it would extend a bit more here and that would hinder the way from the door, so I didn't want to take up all that space. So I fixed on 120 by 70 finally, but now it's too big for these sheets. So I got this long, literally long, okay, can you see? That's long, very long. So this long adhesive sheet from B&Q. So this is from the local B&Q store, and it's actually an adhesive sheet, so it's like you can peel this off and tape it onto the table, but I am not going to do that because definitely I want to remove out this sometimes when I want the white of the table back. So I just thought I'll put it onto the table and tape it at the edges so that when I want to remove it, I can just remove the tape. Hey guys, I can't control my excitement. Oh my god, I can't. So I just had a meeting with Maggie from Silver, and guess what? I have been selected as the brand ambassador for Silverbrush Limited. This is huge. Oh my god. This is unbelievable. I mean, I can't believe this. Silver's brushes were the first brushes that I ever bought, as in the branded ones. So the first time I think I was just using normal ones from the local store and I didn't like it. So I got a set of 3 actually. So I got the size 12, size 4 and size 8 brushes from Silver. This is like my collection of brushes. I didn't buy most of these. I think the only ones that I bought were these ones from Silver, and I think 1 or 2 Escoda brushes because I wanted to try them out. They are amazing as well, but the rest of these brushes have been actually sent over by brands, like for example the Princeton ones and the rest of the Escoda brushes, like these Escoda gold brush. This was sent over by them itself. But even after trying all of these, I just love my silver brushes. So I've got a huge package here from Silver Brush. It's huge. So they've sent me these brushes as I am one of their educators. So let us see what's inside. I just got these small baskets. Not baskets, what do you call this? Desk organizers. Yeah, desk organizers. Or for me, in my case, this is going to be brush holders. So I wanted to organize all of my silver brushes and I thought that this is the best way. And as you can see here, I've just organized all of the brushes and put them together the way I want them to go in these baskets. So let's organize them. I've cleared up this space and removed my other brushes and pen holders, so I'm gonna put my new brushes here. lot of wrapping paper for such a small item. But it's cute, isn't it? Look, all of this was just for that small thing. You remember my big lamp from the other studio tour video? This is a mini version of that. I just thought it's really cute. I mean, I love the other one and I wanted one for the table. Look how cute the vase is. You know how much I love teal and ocean. Look, this is just... oh my god, this is just amazing, isn't it? And I'll show you where that is going to go. And guys, look, I love the teal combo. Oh my god. Welcome to my home studio. This cupboard is where I store all my papers and some of the larger items. So if you've seen the last video, then you know that I store all of my stands and my large paper roll. So this is my Archie's paper roll and those two ones are from Rustro. This is my camera bag. Those are the bags for my lights. And behind that there's a lot of stands which I don't want to get out right now because it's those that I used to use in the past in the house before, and I've got separate stands right now and I might use them if I need it, but otherwise they're all tucked away in that cupboard over there. And on the top shelf in that basket is some canvases, extra wooden boards, and some of my files and folders in there. And that there is my silver brush apron, which they sent it to me, of course. So that's it for the large backs cupboard over there. I didn't want a very large cupboard, so that's why I chose that one and designed it, as in I just needed 2 shelves and that's it. Now over here on this side is most of my watercolors and inks. So these are the ink bottles from Art Philosophy, which they sent me when I was their ambassador. That one I bought from India. So it is the Camlin waterproof drawing inks. I've used them maybe like once or twice. I did not like them much, but they are still my prized collections. And these ones are actually from Craft Angles. So they're a brand based in India. They are amazing. I mean, these little bottles, the color is just so beautiful. I mean, I think I even like it more than the Art Philosophy ones. So then I've got my printer, some other random stuff, and there's something in there which I will show you in another video because it's something that I've been doing since the beginning of this year. So it's a secret for now. And just a bit of my paintings. Then I've got my watercolors in there. I think not all of them, just some of them. So these ones are the Mijello Mission ones. These are Art Philosophy ones. Oh, these ones are from Supervision, which is kind of like a Chinese brand. They sent it to me. I tried it once and I did not like these paints. These ones are my favorite, Schmicke. I think there's like some mixed tubes in there, like for example maybe 1 or 2 Winsor & Newton, and others like Core, which was sent over to me by my friend. But these Schmicke ones are my absolute favorite ones. Then over here on the left is my Daniel Smith paints. Yes, I love them as well. But I think I do love Schmicke more than Daniel Smith. I don't know why, but these are amazing as well. So I think I use both of these, Daniel Smith and the Schmicke ones. And in here are some clothes that I use for in between my watercolor paintings, and this is my label maker. So that's it for that side. And obviously we've got some cute decor on the top of this shelf and some paintings that I made. So 2 seascape paintings I made. I think these are the only acrylic paintings I've made. And there's one over the top there as well. That's acrylic. I've got some of my acrylic stuff over there. That's like my white acrylic, slow drying medium, etc. And obviously more deco stuff on the top. And then now for this cupboard, I have some extra stock paints and materials. Those are extra candles. These ones are Art Philosophy palettes, and that one's Van Gogh. These are my Escoda brush sets. Actually, these are just the cover of the Escoda brush sets. Then these are extra tubes. So all of these were sent over by Art Philosophy when I was their ambassador. Then this is actually funny. So this is my old and finished tubes, which I don't throw away, of course. So I've just kept it here along with the fresh ones. I don't know, because I didn't have another place to keep this. Then that's an extra Sennelier one, and I've got a palette over here. This one I've kept it for a giveaway, so I don't know when that will be, but yes, there will be a giveaway. And so that's it for that cupboard. I don't know if I ever told you the story of these 2 shelves. So they were supposed to be, you know, on the wall on a same line right above that ink ones. So what happened was, after we fixed the first one and then drilled the holes for the second one and started to hang the second one, we noticed that there was literally a slight gap at the top. The bottom was fine, but the top had like a slight gap, and it was looking very, very bad because it was creating like a V shape. And so we had to take it out and, you know, drill another hole. And then my husband had this idea to have this in a staggered manner, and that was actually much better because I think I like this way more rather than together. So if you look here, you can actually see the hole where we drilled and abandoned it, but luckily it's not that visible. And over here in this shelf is some of my sketchbooks, and I think some extra papers as well. Those are not papers, those are actually accordion sketchbooks which I made like years ago and haven't used. They're made of brushstroke paper, so I don't prefer them much. Now if we move on to the side, that's the door of the studio that you come in, and here I've got the shoe rack. I agreed for this to be inside the studio, so that's the shoe rack. And I've got 3 paintings from 3 amazing artists. So I wanted this corner to be like you know, a support artist corner. So I got paintings from few artists who are really good friends, and I have them framed here in the studio. And here I actually keep the copy of my painting science magazine and my engineering magazines, the one from IET. And this is obviously the main table that I work on and that I record my classes on. These things are now fairly new. So I've got a lamp, some artificial plants to make this place look a little bit more aesthetic because I am a plant killer. I've tried to grow plants, real plants, but I end up killing them. I don't know, they just don't survive with me. I've tried everything. I've got my iPad and I've got my Fire tablet and I've got my ring light, my mic stand, that laptop there, that Mac is my second Mac, and then I've got my audio recorder here which was purchased using the equipment fund from SKILLSHARE. And moving over to my brush collection, I got these from Silver. They sent it over to me as being part of their brand educator program, so I keep getting these brushes like every few months. That's how I got these. So, and then I've got my regular stuff here. There's more brushes from Silver, so those are the long handle ones, the other ones were the smaller ones. That there is my old set of brushes. So again, some of these were sent over by companies. The pink gold ones were sent over by Daco, and then I have my mic here which I use for voiceovers, and over here is my main MacBook, which is the MacBook Pro M1. In fact, that's also the MacBook Pro M1, but that doesn't have much memory or high-end features. That's just 256 GB and the basic stuff, but this one is the high-end stuff with the maximum memory and everything. And then here's the large monitor that I got. So this one is Samsung 34-inch monitor, which is amazing because I can multitask on it and use two screens simultaneously, so it eliminates the need for two monitors. I have two monitors at my workplace, and so when I'm working from home, it was really hard for me to work with no monitors at all, and I didn't want to get two and clutter the studio, so I found this feasible solution, which was to get just one and have it as just one large 34-inch one. This is also really helpful because if I'm editing videos, I can use the massive whole entire length of 34-inch to see the timeline in Final Cut Pro. So that there, I would say, is my ultimate productivity desk setup. This is like a gaming mat actually, but I kind of like it because it covers the entire front surface area. I can put my keyboard and I can put my mouse and just, you know, some cute stuff. And obviously, I think you might recognize this. This is from IKEA. This is just a basic laptop stand from IKEA. So I've put the monitor on top of that, and then underneath that there's a lot of space, so I keep some of my notepads, a little coaster, the remote for the lights in the room, some cables, and then I've got some pen stand here with just some pens, markers and highlighters, and a little phone stand to keep my phone. But since I have two phones, one of them's down there. Then behind that there is my pegboard from IKEA. I've got some paintings over there for a project that I'm working on, which I can't reveal yet, but you'll know soon. And some of my acrylic paints, some other things, and this one is a dream catcher that I bought from my best friend. She is no more, so I just keep it here so that I can remember her whenever I see this. And this one was made by my son. I know, don't worry, he's just a 1-year-old. He didn't paint this, but I kind of put a lot of acrylic paints in on top of this one and put this into a plastic sleeve and gave it to him. So he just, you know, grabbed it and played around and it created this. Oh my god, isn't that just beautiful? Then I have more stuff here. So this one is a little cute thing sent over by a student. I really love it. I know she got this made. It's amazing, isn't it? And that's the birthday card that my husband gave me for my 30th birthday. And here I've got a tray, some potpourri, a candle, some sketchbooks, and two little ceramic palettes which were sent over by that best friend. And those sketchbooks were again made by another friend of mine. And I've got some planter over here, and here's a little painting that I made for my aqua class, which was a long while ago actually. So this is like my decoration corner. So I just wanted this area of the room to be aesthetic, so I just printed out some of my paintings and stuck it on the wall so that whenever I sit there on that chair, I can, I don't know, just surround myself with my paintings and be happy about the fact that I created some of these. I mean, some of these are like my literal favorite ones. think we've come around to the curtain and finally that backs cupboard again. So the only thing remaining are now the underside of the tables and the top shelf. So on the top shelf there is some of my acrylic boards which I definitely need to use, and then I've got my sketchbooks here. So these are the sketchbooks that I'm actively using, as in yes, all of these are actively using, and you'll see what I mean if you look at the sketchbook tour video. And then I've got some books here, and then I have the Karen markers, the new set which were again sent over by Karen. Now let me show you the bottom side of the tables before I go into the Alex drawers where I keep all my art supplies. So that there is the Eva trolley where I keep my paintings, and then I've got a box here of sketchbooks. So these sketchbooks are honestly unused sketchbooks. And then I've got my repurposed IKEA trolley there, which again you can see in a video I'm sharing entirely how I repurpose this. So I store some of the sketchbooks that I use daily here and some other materials that I need on a regular basis here. So when I'm working on the table, I can immediately pick up things from the IKEA trolley here by just pulling this tray out and using whatever I want. So now let's move on to this one over here. The first one has all of my stationery supplies. So it's like extra pens, pencils, these markers which were sent over by Chalcola, the company, my Faber-Castell pencils, extra erasers, extra pencils, crayons, and a lot of these just additional supplies, I would say. Then here in the second drawer is all of my tapes, washi tapes and everything, extra clips. This is like my favorite. So if you're wondering a good tape for watercolors, I would highly recommend this. This is the MT washi tape, and I also use this, but it doesn't have like a specific brand, but I do go back and order the exact same one from Amazon always. In fact, this is also really nice, the Tessa Perfect one. So that's it for that drawer. Then, and in here are actually the printer supplies. So it's like extra ink for the printer, so the cutting blade, photo papers, A4 size papers. So these extra cartridges come in from HP whenever I use them. Like for example, if I use this up, then the printer talks to the server and they just send over the next one. So that's it. Then moving over to the next one. So this is where I store all of my cables and little stands and everything smaller. The battery charger for my camera, that's my gimbal, and some extra stand. You can see like this is the tablet holder, so that's my gimbal. And here I've organized all of my cables. So I've just used different kinds of cable ties and organized it in there. So this is like the cables that we get from all the different things that I have. So it's got like HDMI cables, USB-C ones, iPhone to USB-C adapters and everything. So it's just a lot of cables. And this is a stand that I recently got. So that's it. Then moving on to the next drawer is some beautiful stuff. So these are things that were sent over by friends and, you know, whoever sends me anything. If there's a letter or something cute along with it, then I keep it here. This also has my brush roll. I actually use this whenever I'm traveling. But if you can see, this is like the sack in which the Blue Pine Art sketchbook came in. I don't throw anything away. I mean, I really mean it, guys. I just save up everything. So this is like a letter that's my best friend sent to me when she was there. Like for example, this one was sent over by a dear student when I went to India this time. So I've got a lot of stuff like that in here. So that's what I store in this one. And the last drawer, if you've seen me arrange in the last video, is obviously all my electronic stuff. So I am an electronics engineer. I am an aerospace engineer. So I like to build things. I really love to do all of these, although I haven't touched these for a really long time, and I plan to get back to it as soon as possible. I used to make all sorts of things like, you know, robots and drones. So it's just a lot of electronic stuff. I know, too much nerdy stuff. Now coming over to this Alex drawers is possibly what might interest you more. So that's my Himi Mia gouache set, which I got recently from India, but I haven't even opened it. I mean, I literally haven't opened it. And then I've got my Arteza pencils, my Winsor & Newton gouache, and in the first drawers are my watercolors. So these ones are my white knight tubes sorted in colors. I didn't buy this, trust me. I must have bought the first 10 tubes that I used to use, and then the rest of these were sent over by Nevskaya Palitra, the White Knights brand, when I became their brand ambassador. And this one was gifted to me by a friend. So this is the PwC Shin Han paints, the 34th set. Like I said, many of the materials here in this room are gifted or sent over by brands because I'm their ambassador. Other than that, I haven't bought much, so I think there's more. Yes, this is the one that I bought. See, I've only wasted money on such paint. So those ones, I've put it at the back because I don't use it anymore. So those are Arteza tubes, if you can see. So that's like Arteza watercolors, which are not good, but I spent my money on these, which were like the 60 watercolors set from Arteza, and I've used it for a long time in the past. So that's it for that one. Moving over to the next one. This is again watercolors. So this one was gifted by my husband. So maybe you can say that I bought this one because it's the same money from the household. But this was again a surprise he gifted me for Valentine's Day. I think this was before I even became ambassador or anything. So this was the first branded set that I got. If you see some colors missing, that's because it's over on my table along with the usual colors that I use. So that's the Sennelier whole 98 set of colors. And then I've got some more stuff here. So this is the Coliro Pearl colors, which was again sent over by the brand. This is the Dayden Design XC Clone tool, which is like a really amazing tool for drawing circles, and not just circles, you can do a lot of stuff with it, but I've only made circles with that. So this was again sent over by the brand Dayden. So I've got the Escoda soap and the Escoda brush conditioner over there, which was sent over to me by Escoda itself. So that's it for that. I think the next drawer is gouache. So these were again bought by me. I bought this and I bought this one as well. So this one is the Arteza gouache colors, 60 colors, which I still use, by the way. I like it because it's got a variety of colors, and gouache is like you don't need a branded one, you can go with any. And this one is also something that I bought from India. They're really cheap and that's why I bought them. I just wanted to try them out. That one is Art Philosophy, which was sent over by the brand, and those are just glass colors. And I think this is the Himi spray to activate the gouache. And then here I've got the Nevskaya Palitra White Knights Gouache Masterclass Gouache set, which is again sent by them because I was their ambassador. So I think I've got all of their colors in here. I love these little jelly cups. See, it says the Masterclass Gouache set. Then the next drawer is acrylics, I suppose. That's the Arteza 60 color set. I think the only money I've spent is on Arteza colors. I do love the Arteza ones, not the watercolors. The gouache and the acrylics are literally amazing. So these are the Arteza acrylics. So these are acrylic paints from Nevskaya Palitra. And underneath that, I've got another set of acrylic paints, which yes, I did buy that, but that was like long back, and that's the first set of acrylic paints that I used. And inside there, I've got my Camlin acrylic paints, which I got from India, and some more Camlin and Camel stuff. So this is like the acrylic colors, which is again in little cute bottles, and I've got more of Camlin acrylic inks in there. And that's it for that drawer. The next one is all of my other paints. So those ones are oil pastels, which were sent over by Art Philosophy. This one is also Art Philosophy oil pastels. This one was gifted by a friend when I went to India. So this one is the Brushtro soft pastels. Then I've got the Karen Deco brush markers, which were sent over by Karen along with the other box. And this is my custom watercolor set, which I made using the Art Philosophy tubes. And underneath there, I've got my watercolors, which kind of really dates back to years back. I think that's like 10 years old. I used to use this back in India, and then I think I brought this over. Same with those Sakura matte watercolors. So those were one of the first ones that I used for when I was back in India. And that's it for this drawer, and the last drawer is obviously all of my ceramic palettes. So I've got literally loads, and as you can see, I don't wash them. So if you're questioning me, that's because I hate to waste paints. I think that I might use them someday, and there have been instances when I have gone back to several of these palettes and used up the paints. So that's why I keep them. But if I'm desperate and I need to use one specific palette, then I clean it off. But otherwise, I keep it as such so that I can reuse the paints. So I've got all kinds of palettes in there, not just the ceramic ones. I think this one's plastic, and then I've got other ones inside as well. See, more plastic ones. It's the most heavier items, which is why I've kept it at the bottom shelf. And that's basically it. And lastly, let me show you this work area here. This is kind of like the laundry room as well. So it's attached to this room. This was a garage before. I mean, this whole studio was a garage before. The previous owners converted it. And so what he did was he split this into two, and he made a separation here and put connections to different things here. I think the biggest highlight is this sink over here. It's got some paint stains which were there from before, but the best part is literally the sink over here, because I can easily come and clean up, you know, like clean my brushes, clean my paints, pick up water for my watercolor paintings and everything. So it's like just literally easy access to the studio over here, which is what I love. So I hope you enjoyed my studio tour. This is my studio, my home studio, Colorful Mistake Studio, and it took me 1.5 years to set this up. So you should see the last video. It's literally taken over 1.5 years. Even some parts of this video is like taken long back. I kept shooting everything whenever I got new stuff, and that's how all of these videos were made. But the ones where I'm explaining everything were shot right here today. So this here is the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle, which was what I was waiting for to show you the studio tour. Sandeep is here with my son from the nursery, so I gotta go. Bye bye. See you in my next video.